on the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. The life I love is making music with my friends, and I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again, going places that I've never been.
Hi YouTubers, it's me, Michael Brewer, your gay guru, reporting to you from the beautiful Garden Paradise island of Bali. And right here beside me is my dear friend, Maria Bodman.
Yay.
Maria and I go back 30 years this year.
We're 31.
Yeah, we met in kindergarten. No, not really. We met back in California, and we also went to college together at the California Institute of the Arts. And we haven't seen each other in about 20 years now, but we've stayed in touch, and it just worked out through the wonderful miracles of the universe that we are on Bali together. Maria is one of the foremost experts in the United States on Balinese culture and music, is a talented musician and shadow puppetrist, if that's how you say it.
That's a good way.
Okay. And she's showing us the island here in Bali, and we've had some great experiences, as you saw from yesterday's cremation film. And we're sitting here at the ocean in a beautiful place called Candidasa. And today we want to talk about the attitude, or perhaps the contrast between Western attitudes about death and how it's treated here on Bali or in the Balinese Hindu culture. And I'll start that off, and then Maria will just pick up the theme.
Sure.
For me, I think in the West, the basic difference between the two attitudes is we say no. In the West, we say no. For example, if you're sick in a hospital, they'll do anything to keep you from dying. And our whole attitudes of funeral rites are also a kind of a negation of death. The body's not often seen. Grief is really stuffed down. There's a big denial going on about death. Death is a big, huge, scary thing. And I think collectively, as a culture, we shout no to death. We dig our heels in. We even call it the death punishment. Mm-hmm. Death is like the worst thing that could happen to you. Whereas in a culture, this is my opinion, of course, in my belief, the Hindu culture, where the prevailing belief is in reincarnation, life after death, rebirth, endless rebirth, they shout yes to death. And as we saw in yesterday's cremation ceremony, it was a celebration. Sure, there were tears of the close family of missing the form of their relative, but on a societal scale, there's a ritualization of the death process that really, to me, at least what I felt, and you have a lot more experience in this than I do, of course, what they were shouting collectively, yes to death. Death is a natural part of the whole physical condition here on Earth.
Well, death is the last rite of passage that you'll go through.
Yeah.
And they're very interested in the rites of passage from baby to what you saw yesterday.
Right.
The other thing is the only way you can, I want to say advance, but it kind of depends on your karma and what you've done in this life and in previous lives. They want to keep the journey going, and the only way to get reborn is to die.
Right.
You know, so that's a big part of it. And they're not as afraid. They don't want to die. You know, they especially, well, they're pretty much happy people.
Right.
And they don't necessarily want to die, but they have very specific things you're supposed to do at different stages of your life. Mm-hmm. You know, of course, when you're a baby, you're closest to God, and that's why the babies don't touch the ground. They could touch a mat on the ground, but they can't touch directly on the ground until they're 6 months old because they're so close to God. So near birth and near death are the times you're closest to God.
Ah, I see.
And then as you go through the different cycles of your life, different ages, you go to school, you learn. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you wait until maybe you've gotten a skill or something like that before you get married. Mm-hmm. They're waiting a little longer these days before they get married. They want to have at least 2 children, and actually the government says they shouldn't have more than 2. Mm-hmm. Because like Wayan, a friend of ours, he's the 12th out of 13. There's 8 left, but those were the old days when they had more farms and they needed the manpower to run the farms. Okay, so I'm digressing, of course, but
slightly.
But then they go through different rites of passage, and they have to have the tooth filing ceremony, which is the rite of passage into adulthood, where they actually file their teeth to make them even, so that they lose their canine, their animalistic quality.
Oh, is that why? Okay.
Qualities. And even if you die before you had your teeth filed, you will have a tooth filing ceremony as a corpse. Oh. I've witnessed this. It's so important. You have to have all the levels.
There's like little things they've got to check off within a lifetime.
Exactly.